All right, guys, so we have some on-the-ground reaction from average Joes and Janes about Trump's tariffs and what it's doing to the economy here. Let's watch, and then we'll break it down.
I think it's terrible. I think that the prices are going to go up for everybody, and I think the rich are going to get richer, and the rest of the world is going to get poorer.
Wow. Look, that's exactly right, but let me explain it, because that actually requires a little bit of an explanation. Right now, it's not that the rich are getting richer. Right now, everybody's getting poor, right? Or at least 99.9% are getting poor. But what's going to happen is, if this effectively crashes the economy, right, and then everybody gets squeezed because they got to pay the tariffs with the consumer goods, plus healthcare, housing, education, all that, the inflation's through the roof, it's super high. What can happen is, so many people who are business owners, like medium-sized business owners, they're going to go under, right? And then what happens is you have the top 0.1%, like the mega wealthy, the billionaires, the robber barons. They're the only ones in a position to come in and buy up everything on the cheap, right? So more consolidation, more monopolization, and like the economy can be run by like 10 mega wealthy people where they own fucking everything. So to this guy's point, like, he's right in the long run. Right now, in the short run, everybody's getting hosed, except Warren Buffett, who was smart enough to, dump a bunch of stock before the crash happened. So, like, everybody's getting hosed. And what'll happen in the long run, though, is the robber barons will come in and buy up everything, and they will get way more phenomenally wealthy, and everybody else will basically be a peasant. So ultimately, he's correct. Exactly what he laid out is exactly what's going to happen.
We're all going to have to pay more money for anything as a consumer and also as a vendor.
I don't know if it'll go as high as when COVID was here. I mean, lumber was crazy.
Start getting some of the products that we know we're going to need long term and buy them in bulk to be able to absorb some of what potentially may be coming.
That's what a lot of people are saying. I saw Mark Cuban on Twitter telling people, like, hey, man, buy in bulk before these tariffs really hit. Buy in bulk. Go to the store. Anything that you can save, that you can store, buy as much of it as you fucking can right now, because it's going to skyrocket.
I'm just waiting for these 3.5 years to be over.
Amen. Amen to that, woman. I think that's how a lot of people are feeling right now, including many Republicans who are immediately becoming Democrats, witnessing what's happening. But let me give you one more specific number. This really just puts everything into perspective. Ready? Tariffs will make groceries and other regular purchases more expensive. Agree 70%. Disagree 15%. 15. So remember, Trump in the past did a full court press on the issue of tariffs. And what did he say about tariffs? They don't raise the price. I don't know what you're talking about. They don't raise the prices at all. In fact, if anything, I'm going to lower prices on day one. I'm going to lower prices on day one, folks. So he was doing this propaganda relentlessly. And if you talked to anybody in MAGA a year ago, they would have said that exactly. Tariffs don't raise prices. That's what they would have said. Now, the reality is hitting people, number one. Number two, they realized that their argument was untenable on that front, so now they switched it to what? Short-term pain, long-term gain. Short-term pain, long-term gain. So in other words, wait a second, now you're admitting they are going to raise prices. Why were you saying relentlessly that they weren't going to raise prices like a year ago? Why were you doing that? 5 months ago even. Why were you doing that? Why? Because he lies. He is a pathological liar. He doesn't care that what he's saying is not true. He's not like you. He's not like me. When my mouth moves and I start talking, I try to make sure every single thing I'm saying is fucking accurate. He doesn't work like that. Is the thing I'm saying self-serving in the moment or not? Well, it was self-serving when I lied to people and said tariffs aren't going to raise prices. Now, it's going to happen right now, so I have to prepare everybody and be like, short-term pain, long-term gain. So only 15% of the country. How do you expect to survive with numbers like this? Bro, his economic numbers are underwater now. This is unheard of for a Republican politician. His economic numbers are like double-digit under, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. And nobody has been more intransigent in the reaction to the market crash than him. Any other president, when there's a market crash, they're on top of it like that. Like, they're out there giving press conferences, calming the American public. They're working behind the scenes. Hey, what should the Fed do? How should we react to this policy-wise? Let's get on top of it, making phone calls to senators, working with Congress, figuring out. He's none of that. He literally hopped on a plane, went to Mar-a-Lago, and went to a Saudi golf event, and then later that night had $1 million a plate fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago. The guy who allegedly is not going to run again is doing $1 million a plate fundraiser within the first 3 months of his second term. Why? Why are you doing that? Then he was like, I'm going to a Brooklyn Dodgers game. It's going to be tremendous. We love it. Wait, is it Brooklyn or LA now? I don't remember. Whatever. I don't follow the MLB in case you can't tell. I'm going to a Dodgers game. Tremendous. So excited. This is what he was tweeting as the market was falling off a fucking cliff. So somebody said this too the other day. They're like, he no longer cares about optics. He doesn't care about optics. So he can do whatever the fuck he wants. And he's like, I don't care if this drives down my approval rating. Who cares? I get to do what I want now. And that's the end of it. He's really acting like Republicans will never have to answer to voters ever again. And then now you're put in a position where it's like, will there be enough Republican senators with balls who say, you know what, let's force a vote on slapping down these tariffs? And then Trump would veto it, and then it would need to come back to the Senate, and they would need to override his veto with 2/3. Are we going to get to the point where they realize, hey, we sort of got to do this now? I don't know the answer to that question. But look, there's a lot of question marks as to why Trump is doing the tariffs that he's doing, right? The Pollyanna-ish answer, the most straightforward answer is he's just a fucking idiot, and he thinks that it'll work in the long run, right? That's the take it at face value type answer. That's at least somewhat true, right? I do think he thinks in the long run it will work out, right? But then the other part of it is, as we've discussed, how many people in Trump's orbit have shorted the market recently? Like betting on the market to fall, and then they'll make millions or billions of dollars as a result of that. I'm sure there's a bunch. And then the other part of it is, he says there's going to be no exemptions, but I mean, it's very likely he will dole out exemptions based on personal favors to him, right? Where he could say, yeah, okay, your tariff rate for this country is 15%. Maybe I'll lower it to 5%, but you got to give me 1% on that, right? Like, this is what we're talking about. He is a gangster. He is a mafia don at this point. Because remember, when he was raised with like fucking Roy Cohn, the infamous mafia lawyer. Like, this guy taught him a lot. He's acting like a mafia don now. And this is one way he could just hold everybody hostage, and he can get off on the power of everybody's got to come to me and beg the king for forgiveness. This is one way to do it. Yeah, I tariffed you, and I'm going to leave it in place unless you do favors for me, right? It's the same thing as, they go to the business, and the mafia walks in and goes, look, this is a dangerous block. I'm just telling you now, you should pay us for your protection. And, you give us X amount per month, and everything will be taken care of. And the person's like, what? What are you talking about? Then the mafia comes back later, breaks the fucking window of the place, and says, hey, man, I told you, we'll protect you, but you just got to pay us X amount. And then they pay him. It's like, I am the threat, but I will sell you the protection from me, the threat. That's sort of what this is, right? So that's probably a part of it too. Remember, you always have to come back to this. Yes, they're evil. Yes, they're nefarious. Yes, they're corrupt, but they're also incredibly incompetent and stupid. And so this is just the beginning, man. 15% disagree with tariffs. By the time this is all said and done, it'll be fucking... The number of people who want tariffs will be single digits. Maybe fucking zero when all said and done, with the widespread pain that's going to happen. That's for sure. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.